Yesterday we discussed about the HANA installations, then how to add the systems into HANA Studio. So this is what we discussed yesterday, right? So let me show you once again. So here, how to start the HANA systems. First of all, how to check whether my HANA system is started or not. So if you see here, if you log into the your Linux box here through Putty we have to log in. So execute root user. Okay, so then you can switch to the what is the SID you installed, suppose like HDB. So HDB ADM you have to log in, right? So then after that, when you click on the HDB space info, you see whether you will be able to log into the HANA database or not. You see all the process should be up and running, which means your HANA database got up, which means your HANA database got so up and running. If this all these six process, right? So all these six process, six family members, right? Name server, compile, preprocessor, access engine, web dispatcher, and daemon. So daemon, under the daemon only we have the all this will come, right? So under the daemon only, so all this will come. So you need to check whether if you just execute the HDB space info, you will get the list of 7 process, right? If these 7 process are displaying, which means your HANA database is up and running here, right? So suppose if you want to see one more database, suppose like sudo su, this is a user from one user to another user. To switching the user from one user to another user, so we have to use this command, right? We have to use this command, switching the user from one user to another user. So we have to use the commands like su. So su space that user SID ADM. So during the installation, we have the two users are creating, right? One is the SID ADM. The second one is the system user. System user for the so DBA tasks, database administration tasks. So SID ADM means OS level admin tasks. OS level admin tasks. You need to use the SID ADM. Suppose your SID is S4H, then you need to log into the S4H ADM user. You have to log into the systems, right? So same as like here you can see. So switch user S4H ADM, right? Then you will log into the S4H ADM only, right? You already in the S4H ADM only, right? So then if you just execute HDB capital letter and info, then you will see the whether so database processor started or not, right? You can see here the database processor started. That is the reason. So if database processor started means so the database is up and running. Suppose if you use HDB space stop means stopping the database. See here, I'm stopping the database now. See here, I'm stopping the database here. So stopping the database. Stopping the database means so you have to use the HDB stop command. So the commands for the database operation. So HANA, the stop and start procedure is like to log into the OS level, log into the OS level, then with SID ADM switch to SID ADM, then execute the HDB stop for stopping the database. HDB start for starting the database. So these are the commands you have to use it for starting the HANA databases. Right now, see HANA database is completely stopped. Right. So if you just execute the HDB space info, then you see so nothing is there now. No process is live now. See here, when you execute the same command here, HDB space info, all the process are started here. See here, all the process are up and running here, which means here database is started, here database is not started here. When the database is not started, you will not be able to connect to the your database also, right? Suppose I'm in the host name, I'm giving the host name here, SAP HANA. Okay, so what is the instance number? 00. So how can I tell means here you can see HDB zero zero. Instance number is the HDB 00. So that HDB 00. Then multi-container, right? System database, right? Click on the next button, right? You can use the system, then the password, you can enter it here. Then now you will see, you will be able to connect. No. Why? Because the system cannot be reached here. Cannot be reached here. So after the HANA installation, so HANA will be started. So in any case, so HANA is stopped status. HANA is stopped status. HANA means your SAD stopped status. Then you cannot connect it. Then you cannot connect it to the your HANA system. You cannot connect to the HANA system. So now let me start it. Let me start it here. If you see here, free-g. Free-g means how much memory used here. So see here, 12 GB is used here, right? Total 39 GB. In that used memory is the 12 GB here. So if I use HDB space start here, HDB state start here, then the data will be loaded here. So here HANA is the in-memory database management system, which means all the data will be resides in main memory. It will store the data into main memory. So here we can prove that one. Why? Because when I'm starting the HANA database using the HDB start command, here the memory size will be increased here. The memory size will be increased. Why? Because all the data will resides into the main memory. So here we can observe it. Here, so you can see HDB start command. HDB start command means here you can observe the how many how data is starting or not. Immediately it won't start it. So all the data will be loaded first, then HANA will come to the, so next prompt you will get it out here. Next prompt you will get to the here, right? You will see here. So once the HANA started here, then you will get the prompt, command prompt, you will get it out here. So why we have to log into the OS level and do the administration work means, so during the stopping, starting, right? And also suppose any other issues, we have to log into the operating system level, and installation time, during the upgrade time, only these cases we have to log into the operating system level, and we have to do the some troubleshooting activities. Here you can see HANA is getting started here, right? So here now go back and again retry. Again go back and retry. Now it is connected. So why, how it is connected now? Now database comes to the online now. How it is connected here? System DB is connected. So why? Because so here few of the process already started here. See here. So HANA database started, completely started here. Now if you execute the free-g here, now see, so it's a like previously before starting it's a 12 GB. Now it's like 17 GB, which means the 5 GB got increased. 5 GB got increased here. 5 GB got increased means here. So which means data, the 5 GB data loaded into the main memory. The 5 GB data loaded into the main memory. That is the reason here. That is the reason all the data residing into the main memory. So now if you use HDB space info means, you see all the 7 processes are live here. All the 7 processes are live here. So previously when you execute it, HDB space info, nothing is there here, which means so HANA database is stopped here. Once the HANA is started, then you can able to add to the here. It's a one-time activity. When you add to the HANA Studio, when you add to the HANA Studio, then that will be saved. That will be saved here, right? So go to the multi-container. Here put like S4H. What is our tenant SID? During the installation time, you give the SID, right? That SID you need to put it here, right? So then system user. Why? Because we don't have any users to log into the HANA database. Then you can use the system user. Then you can able to log into the system user. See here, can able to log into the system user here. When you double click on it, or it will open the administration tabs. Administration page will be opened here. So administration page will be opened here. So this is the way we have to add the systems to the HANA Studio. Then how to open it here. Here you can see all the, in the overview tab, you can see the all the services are stopped. When was the last restart happened? So what is the version of the HANA 2 SP05? and also what is the your OS platform version. So all the information is located here, right? All the information here located. CPU usage, disk usage, all the information got located in the here, right? This is the overview page here. So then next one we have the landscape page. So landscape page means here we can see the list of process here, list of process here. So list of process means our family members, right? So compile server, name server, preprocessor, web dispatcher. These are the list of processes are available in the systems, right? Daemon. So these are the list of processes. List of process are available in the systems here, right? So here list of process are available in the systems here. Compile server, daemon, name server, preprocessor, web dispatcher, all are available in the systems here. So here you can see here. So here only you can see the five process only, right? Compile server, daemon, name server, preprocessor, web dispatcher. So SAP start as service process is common for everywhere. So just you can ignore this one. So only five process are there. HANA related five process are there here. Sir, where is remaining? Where is remaining two process? So anyone have idea? So where are these remaining two process? So why? Because in the one host, yes, someone is selling something. Where are these remaining two
In
process?
tenanted database.
Yes, right, exactly. It's in the tenant database. Why? Because when you install the HANA database, by default, you will get the two databases, right? In the one host, one operating system here, suppose like SAP HANA, when you install HANA database, you will get the, so one system DB and one tenant DB, you will get by default. By default, G plus one. When the apartment concept, first of all, they will build the G plus one. Then after that, so they will keep on increasing the floors and everything, right? So the same as like here also, first we will create the G plus one, right? G plus one. So system DB and tenant DB we will create it here. So five process, total seven process. In that, five process are available in the here, and the remaining two are available in the here. So remaining two means, so index server, access engine. So every tenant, after that, if you want to create the one more floor, means one more tenant, then you can build the one more tenant. If you want to create the one more tenant, you can create the one more tenant. If you want to create the one more tenant, you can create it. But each tenant, there is a IX, XI. So access engine, index server, access engine, index server, access engine, index server, access engine, index server will be created. But system DB, five only. System DB, five process only will work it out. So this way we can minimize the resources also. Suppose if you want to install the one more SID for the one more application, again in the HANA 2.0, again seven process will come, right? So here that is not the class, only two process will come here, right? So each tenant you have the index server here. Each tenant you have index server here available here, right? Here you can see the process related host name. What is the in which host this is the so staying, and what is the port number? What are the services are available? When was the last restart happened? And CPU utilizations, memory utilizations graphically and numbers wise. So they have updated the details here. You can see the they have the updated the details. All the details are updated here. All the details are updated here, right? So this is the major, so major work of the, so all this process and everything here. So here in the landscape tab, so just next go to the alerts tab here. So before we go for the alerts tab here, first of all, we would like to discuss about the each and every process. If we go to the tenant DB also we have the, so that 5 plus 2, remaining 2 also available here. Index server and access engine. Index server, access engine. Those system database related files, system database related surveys are available, plus in the display mode, plus remaining 2 also available here. Total 7. You can see total 7 processes are available here. And also how much CPU utilization. So for us, just a basic concept for us here. So food and water is how it is important for us humans. So same as like here, for a system which is running in the systems, each and every process. So now why? Because we are calling as a family members, right? We are in one home. One home means one database. This is the database. This is the earth for them. SAP HANA is the database in what earth. In that earth, this process are staying. This process are living here. Then what about the food and water for them? The food and water for them is like CPU and memory utilizations. So this process ID is for the port number, the process ID is the Aadhaar card, something like that. How we have on the earth we have, right? So we have the humans, then we have one identity, right? So we have the Aadhaar card name. Name is like same, the service name, and we have the number on our identity number here. So then our date of birth and everything is mentioned here, like when was the start time, when you started the so your activities, right? So then as the process activity, and what is the food usage, what is the memory usage in the graphical wise, all these things we have everything, right? Same as like here in the each process, if the process should be live, the process should be up and running. So which means that process is required the some amount of CPUs, some amount of memory is required here, right? For how the food and water is very important. So here also the CPU and memories are very important for the each and every process here, right? So if you don't have food, what will happen? You will go and you will go to the sick status, right? Am I right? So that is the reason here. Same concept here. If you don't have much memory, if you don't have much water, so what happens? One day you can survive. Then the next day, in the next hour, you will go to the sick status, right? You will go to the sick status. So then sick status means that will be applied here. That will be applied here, right? So that is the major thing of the here CPU and memory, right? So am I audible, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So that is the main thing for the this process also. CPU and memory also. The main thing is for the process also. So you can compare it. If you don't have the memory, what will happen? System will go down status. System will go, process will go to the sick status. If the process is sick, then what will happen? This process will not do any work here. Then what is the work of the each and every process? So if you ask me, I'm a trainer, I'm giving the trainings to the so students, right? So and also if I ask you, you are the student, so your work is getting the information, getting the so your work is getting the work, right? Getting the so what is getting the subject from the trainer and practicing. So if I ask my way here, we have the HANA 7 core process. If I ask the same question to HANA core process, so what is their responsibility in the HANA system, right? We have the 7 core process index server. So in that, the first one is the very important. This is called the father of the database. Here, the father of the 7 core processor available here. So index server, what is mean by index server here? What is mean by, so what is so index server? Index server is the main process here. It will process the, so it will store the all the data inside of the database. If the data is coming to the system, then it will go to the index server and it will stay in the index server only. So remaining, sir, what is the advantage of it? All the data storing into the index server, then what is the advantage of remaining process? So remaining process will help to the index server to store the data. So here you got the one clarity. So where is the index server? What is the, so what is the index server here, right? So index server is the main process here. It will store the data, all the loads, calculations, everything will be available in the index server only. So that's why I will call it as the index server is the father of the house, right? Suppose in our home, who is the main person means normally we will tell like our father, right? So father is the main person here. So he will do the all the work, groundwork. So he will do the he will take the all the loads, burdens, everything, and he is the main major person, right? That's why we will call it as, so father is the index server is the father of the house. Same in our home, what the father will do? So all the earnings, right? So loads, calculations, so everything he will store it in his brain and everything, right? Is the main earner, is the main head of the house, right? Same as like here, I will call it as the index server also will do the same kind of work here. So index server means it will store the all the data, all the loads, calculations, engines, everything is available in the index server. So all the business data in the form of row store, column store, tables, everything we discussed, right? Whatever the data is coming, it will store into the index server. So this index server is available. It is the main. This is the master. So we will call it as, right, different namings. So it's the main and master. And so all the data, all the data resides, all the data resides of the resides, all the data resides into the index server into the index server. Index server is the main process here, right? It will store the all the data, right? So that is the main thing of the index server, right? So and it will available only on tenant DB. It is only on a tenant DB. So that is the reason system DB does not store any data. Tenant DB only it will store the data. Why? Because in the tenant we have the index server. So wherever index server is there, then so you have the all the data will resides. So wherever jaggery, right? Jaggery. So wherever jaggery is there are the ants. So everything will come, right? Same as like here also wherever the in Telugu Telugu చెప్తే సో ఎక్కడైతే బెల్లం ఉండదో అక్కడికి ఈగలు దోమలు చీమలు అన్నీ వస్తాయి. సో రైట్ అక్కడే స్టోర్ అవుతుంటాయి. సేమ్ యాజ్ లైక్ ఇక్కడ కూడా సో ఎక్కడైతే ఇండెక్స్ సర్వర్ ఉంటుందో డేటా మొత్తం ఇండెక్స్ సర్వర్లో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది. ఇండెక్స్ సర్వర్ ఎక్కడ ఉంటుందంటే టెనెంట్ డీబీలో స్టోర్ అవుతుంది అనమాట. Okay, so yeah, that is the main thing here, right? Index server is the main process. It will store the all the data which are coming from applications, which are coming from third party applications. So data, how data will come with SAP application. SAP, the people will log into the SAP. So suppose if I draw the diagram, SAP is the three-tier architecture, right? SAP layer and application layer and a DB layer, right? This is a database layer, right? So when the data is coming to the here, when the data is coming to the here, it will store the application here, right? So then user will log into the application level, then application level here he will do the transactions and everything here. Once the transaction is done, the transaction will go and sit into the database level. So that is the order of following. That is the order of following the order of following the data flow here. This is the data flow will happen. So which not means directly we cannot go database level and do the changes, right? Application will do the changes. So here you have to do the changes, which means so you have to go to the Amazon. So Amazon has the own database. So you are booking the order means the order will go and sit into the database level. So that is the main concept of the application here. The application will help you to process your business logics, orders, payments, ticket booking, whatever you want, everything will go. So this application is hosted on the top of the database, top of the DB, your application is hosted here. So which means database is the very important here. Why? Because all the business data, financial data, company data, employees data, everything will store into the your database only. The database we are using the HANA database means. So here in the database level, if I go one step before, where the data resides means in the tenant DB. If I go one step before, then where in the tenant DB it will store, right? Index server. In the index server, that will be stored the data here, right? So that is the responsibility of the index server here. Then what next? After the index server, what is the next one? Index server. So compile server, right? So compile, next index server, compile server. So compile server. So compile server, in the name itself we have compilation in the server, which means so it will compile the compilation of the programs. Every database, the HANA database is written in the C++ language, right? So every database, so they have the own set of programs, code, structures, everything is there, right? So whenever data is coming here, so the compile server will compile the compilation. We will put it as a compilation of the programs and stored procedures. Compilation of the programs and stored procedures here. So compile server compile the programs and stored procedures in the database level. It will only compile and will help to the index server. That is the main process of the compile server. Then preprocessor. So preprocessor processing the unstructured data, unstructured data. If any data, suppose if any data which is coming to the your database level, but that is not in the structured format. Not in the structured format means, suppose sometimes what happens, we may get the data, we may get the data in, so it's kind of not in the structured format. Suppose like kind of some, there is no code, there is no structures, there is no values, nothing like that. The data comes here. So even if any data is coming without any structured format, even though the preprocessor will take that request, will change it to the, so will change to the structured format, will help index server to the store the data. So all this process will help to the index server to store the data, right? All this process will help to the index server to store the data. That is the main process of the compile, server, and preprocessor, right? Preprocessor processing the unstructured data. Processing the unstructured data will help to the index server. Compile server, compilation of the programs and stored procedure. So each process there is a responsibility. Maybe here index server we will call it as the, we call it as a, so father, right? In the compile server and the preprocessor we will call it as the, so maybe we will also sons and daughters, right? We will help to the our father, right? Suppose the father is doing some work, we will help to the fathers to for the help as a support. We are helping to the fathers. Same as like here. So this compile server and the preprocessor, the small services which help to the father means index server to carry out the work and everything here, right? So that is the main thing here. The next one is the, so name server. Name server. So name server is available, right? Only index server is available in the 1080db. The compile server, preprocessor, name server, all are available in the system db. So name server is the master in, is the master in, is the master in, is the master in, so system db. Name server is the master in system db. Then it will holds the, it will holds the small amount of work, like it will holds the it will holds the, means it will carry out the responsibility of the name server is, it will holds the, so sid, what is the instance number, what is the host names, and what is the port number. This is called the, there is a technical word is called the topology related information. So name server will hold the topology related information. If you tell this word, some people they won't understand here. Then immediately what is mean by topology? Topology means SID, instance number, host name, port number. These are called the topology, landscape related information, means your system related details, right? So it will carry out the that related information here. So that is the master in the system database here. So if you go to the system database here, so the name server is the master here. So if you go to the 1080 database here, index server is the master here, right? System db and index server now, right? So that is the main thing here. Compile server, right? Index server, name server, preprocessor. So we discussed it, right? So and also this is also will help to the index server, right? Connecting to the index server here. Then what next here? So after the index server, what next? Like web dispatcher. The next one is the web dispatcher. Web dispatcher. What is use of the web dispatcher here? So web dispatcher will handle the web-based request. So some people, some members, they will log in through browser, right? Normally in all the cases we will log into the browser, right? We will log into the browser and we will carry out our work and everything, we will perform it, right? We will log into the browser and we will carry out, we will open the application, we will perform it. So that time the web dispatcher will take the request, it will handle the web based request, and it will give handover to the access engine. Access engine will process the, will process the will process the web based request, will process the web based request. Access engine will process the web based request here, right? So it will take the, take the web based request, means browser based request, will hand over to, will hand over to access engine. Then access engine will take the, will process the web based request and will help to, will help to index server to store the data, to store the data. That is the main advantage of the access engine. So here, if any request, normally we will go to the SAP login pad, everything, we will log in and we will do the transactions, but not like that. So suppose some people, they will log in through web dispatcher, right? So like web dispatcher, right? Web dispatcher. So in that case, browser mode, right? In that case, so in that case, what will happen? Web dispatcher will take the browser-based request and it will hand over to the access engine. Then access engine will take the request from the web dispatcher, will carry out the authentication mechanism and user ID password. Then it will help to the index server to store the data. Finally, each and every remaining 6 process will help to the index server only to process the request here. So that is the role of the access engine, right? So we have then name in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the last one is called the daemon is the main process here, right? So what is the use of the daemon process here? So here index server is the, so we will call it, I will call it as the index server is the main process here, father, right? So these are the family members. We have the father, mother, and so son or daughters are there, right? Here also index server is the father, remaining all are the, so sons are daughter, something like that. You can take it example, right? So then who is the mummy here, right? So mummy also should be available, right? If the father is there, then mummy also should be available, right? So daimon is the mummy here. Daimon is the mummy here. So what is the responsibility of the mummy in your home, right? Suppose in any one of the family member, suppose responsibility of the mummy means, in your case, uh, if someone is stuck, suppose either the index server or compile server web dispatcher is 6 status. So immediately the daemon will go and give the boost to that process, will will speed up the process here, which means daemon will give the boost to the faulty process. Faulty process means we have the in the database name one word is called the faulty process, right? Faulty means error status. If the any process is in the stopped or error status, this daemon will go and restart that process, right? That faulty process, right? Suppose that is the what mummy will do, right? In our home. So if you are in the sick status, if you are in the, you are down with some sick, you are down with some fever or something like that, immediately mummy will give the boost or bonavita or some tablet or medicine to you to bring back to the normal status, right? Same as like here also, if any process is in the sick status or faulty status in the database language or error status, right? So in that case, so this daemon will go and start that process. Sir, how it is possible? Yes, it is possible. So if you want, let me stop the one process here. I will kill the one process here manually, right? I will kill the one process here manually. So when you kill the process manually, immediately this daemon process will go and will start that service, will go and will start the service here. That will happen here, right? That is what here we can do it here. So if you want, let me show you here, right? So here just I'm stopping the web dispatcher. Just to stop the web dispatcher here, right? I stopped the web dispatcher here. Just click on the see this button, right? Now web dispatcher is in the red status. Red status means here now web dispatcher is red status, which means it is not active. It is stopped status. So just wait for 1 or 2 minutes. Just click on the refresh button. Again, it will come to the green status. Then who started here, right? We only killed this one, but who started here? Immediately, the daemon will assume, oh, one of my process has faulty error status. Immediately, that will go and stop that. That will go and start that process. That will go and start that process here. So that is what here the daemon will do here. Daemon process will do here. See here now preprocessor is in the red status. So preprocessor red means what is the work of the preprocessor? Processing the unstructured data, right? Store processing the unstructured data or so processing the unstructured data. So which means it will not process here. Immediately what this will do, immediately your daemon, immediately it will go and oh, one of my child, one of my son is in the sick status. Immediately it will go and start that process. All right, that is the major advantage of the so daemon process here. right? So here you can see the list of process here: compile server, daemon, index server, name server, preprocessor, web dispatcher, access engine. So when was the last restart happened here, right? So all processors started 538, 538. Then these two processors restarted. Why means you have manually so started, which means so these are the started very lately, or these are the someone stopped manually, right? You can see here you have the stopped manually here. So during this process time, right? So immediately, so you can see that it is observed, and also the CPU utilization also very high for them. So the CPU utilization also very increasing. So and also the memory, how much memory is consuming here, right? This is the graphical wise, this is the statistics wise, it is displayed here, right? So this is the landscape tab and each and every process related information. All right. When you go to the alerts tab here, the next tab is the alerts tab here. In the alerts tab, you can see the alerts, issues, right? Alerts, issues. Suppose in your database something is happening, then it will throw the alerts here. It will throw the alerts in the alerts box. It will throw the alerts here, right? So here, if any problem, it will generate the alerts. If no problems, then it won't generate the any alerts here. It won't generate the any alerts. So that is the main process of the main process of the here. So database level as a administrator, we have to take care of the how the database is working, and what is the process ID and all this information. It will be displayed in the database level, how the database working and everything. So if this process are working properly, then you won't face any issues. If this process are working properly, you won't face any issues here. Not working, then you will face the issues here. If it is not working, then you will face the errors here. And that is the so main thing of the all this process and everything here, right? So that is the main process of the all this process and everything here. Okay. So here, let me, oh, it's going to the different way. Let me stop. Go to the alerts tab here. In the alerts tab, you can see, so are there any alerts are generated or not? Are there any issues in your database or not? So all these priority related items will be shown here. So yesterday, all the alerts, or today's alerts, everything will be displayed here. Everything will be displayed in the systems here. So any pages, any transparent huge pages, so anything is happening in the system or not, it will display here, right? If any error, maybe OS level error or SAP level or database level errors, all will be displayed here. Today, last 15 minutes back, how many? 30 minutes back, how many? And last 1 hour, last to yesterday, today, 3 weeks back, 4 weeks back, older, all the information it will show here. All the information it will show in the here, right? This is the alerts configuration. Alerts means, so in your database, if any issues, how can we know means, while monitoring the database as a day-to-day, checking the CPU, memory utilization and everything, you will come to know what is the status of the your database process, everything will come to know, right? While checking this one, you will see the CPU utilization is very high, right? Then disk usage is very high. Something like that, if something is high, then we need to find out why it is very high. So which process is running very, consuming the more CPU, more memory, right? So all the information you can find out from here, right? So here you can find out which process is consuming more memory here, right? And also alerts tab. In the system, if any errors detected in the system, if any errors are detected, then it will throw the errors, issues, right? That is the main thing of the so alerts tab here. So based upon this alerts, we have to fix the errors here. So suppose if you open the last 15 minutes back, what happened? So we have the processor has been restarted, right? And web dispatcher has been restarted. We restarted the web dispatcher and preprocessor. So that information also tracked here. That information also logged here. So when the alerts occurred, the two alerts occurred here. So preprocessor on the host has been restarted. So check the note for more information, right? So all the information is displayed here. Same as like web dispatcher also restarted. So all the information got recorded here. So alerts tab. So I want, instead of checking the alerts here, I want this alerts to the my inbox, my mailbox. So is it possible alerts configuration? Why? Because every time I cannot be every 24 hours in the online checking the everything, right? But if it is the mailbox, if you are not there and someone in your team, they will check it out, right? So then here you can go to the here, you can configure the mailbox configurations and everything. You can perform it here. Suppose sender address. So SMTP server sender address. Sender address means normally no reply at s4h.com, something like that. And also, so sender means who is sending the emails, that sender address here. SMTP server, that SMTP server details you need to mention here, right? SMTP server details. Who is the recipients here? Who should receive the emails, right? Suppose like SAP basis. So suppose SAP basis should receive the emails, right? Then I created the one email here. So then click on the OK button. Then what will happen from now onwards? If any error got generated here, if any issue, immediately you will get the alerts to the your mailbox. That is the alerts configuration, right? Alerts configuration, alerts configuration. This we have to perform it here, right? You can see it here, right? So then the next one is the okay. Let me pause it here. Any questions from anyone here? The first three tabs.
యాజ్ పర్ ద క్లయింట్ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ చేసుకోవాలి సార్, ఇది లేకపోతే మామూలుగా మనం చేసుకోవాలా
Which
అలర్ట్ కాన్ఫిగరేషన్?
that is the requirement. Suppose every time you cannot be on the 24 hours be on the online, right? If you are on the online during that time there is no issue. When you already checked it, when you go to the offline, that time you have some issues. Then immediately again next day morning you will log in and you will do the daily monitoring and everything. You will check it out. That time okay, this was restarted, so that is the reason we have these issues. Instead of that, if you configure the alerts to your mailbox, so mailbox, so then what will happen? As and when required, if any alerts comes, immediately you will get the mails. Suppose like messages. So you are getting the messages to the your mobile phone, right? So when there is a triggers happens, then so you will get the message. So if you are not in that time, then it will be stored into the inbox. Later we can review it. Same as like here also. So we will get the alerts to the our inbox. It depends. If you have the already SMTP server is there, so client also okay to configure the alerts, then you can configure it. Otherwise, you don't configure it. So the persons who wants to configure the alerts to these error messages to their inbox, then so you have to configure it and you have to be proactive. Proactive means so whenever the issue comes, immediately we need to log in and check what is happening in the system, what is the status of my process here, all the process are up and running or not. So this information we have to check it out. Okay. So any questions?
Yeah, no, Ravi.
Okay, it's clear, right? So you please practice first three tabs. That's fine. So first three tabs is the very important. Then this will take the longer duration, and this one is very small. So it's not like that. Once we complete all the tabs, HANA administration is completed. We have lots to discuss. So, but in that, this is a small piece of action, small basics. These are why, because these basics will depends upon the. So if you learn these basics, all these things, if any issues comes, where to check it out. So where you check the alerts and everything. So where you check the all the process running or not, you have to tell like in HANA Studio landscape tab. So how can I get the versions and all the information here means over your tab. So like that you have to explain it when the interviewer or someone is asking the questions. So we have to answer like this, right? So that is the major thing here. Why? Because every organization, the persons having the HANA Studio, then in the HANA Studio we will add the systems, we will monitor the all the HANA services and everything. If this all process are green and everything is okay, then we are good. There are no issues with the database. So if something is wrong, then we are having the issues, right? That is the main thing. So initially we'll go slowly. So once you understand the basics and everything, you need to digest the things, right? Some technical words and everything. Then later, so we can go a little bit fast. Okay. So please practice it, whatever we discussed today.